Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, guys? So that was easy. Cool. Thank you guys so much. I am so sorry that there was a couple hiccups. I had no idea that I had to have 100 people when I created the Facebook page. I had no clue that I had to have 100 people to go live on Facebook. So I'm sorry. Thank you guys. And awesome. It is so cool to be able to share RC car racing and the hobby that I love, and I know all you guys love, across 3 different platforms as well. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and now anything we talk about will be on YouTube so that guys can come through and actually rewatch and learn some of the stuff that we're going to talk about and things like that. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. I appreciate you. We have all kinds of cool new things. I was showing some of the people that were watching us over on YouTube, all of the cool get up that we kind of have going on now. I can see so much more on my side. I can see comments from all 3 platforms. Actually, I can see comments from Facebook and YouTube. So I can see those very easily. And so like, for example, I can now show comments and we can talk about those as the comments come up. So we already have 20 people in here. Thank you guys so much. This is awesome. This is exactly what I was hoping for. We have tickers now that we can work with. JB, you're the man. Thank you for sending that out to everybody. So that helped a ton. But yeah, guys, so we've got all kinds of cool stuff to go over tonight. All kinds of cool things to talk about. So let's just get right into it. It's going to be pretty cool. So basically the idea around Scale Labs and what we're doing here is basically I'm trying to bring together the community of everybody who races RC cars. I'm primarily into dirt oval, but I also love off-road and I also love on-road. I've never got to do off-road, but I love off-road, or on-road rather. And so I look forward to doing that. And so this is all about just trying to bring people together, bring knowledge that is kind of industry exclusive to some people and or hobby exclusive, and be able to bring that. So now it's recorded. Anybody can go back onto the YouTube channel, for example. It's not, we don't lose it after 30 days or anything like that, like we do on Facebook. So we can push people to the YouTube channel. They can watch these streams. They can learn. I can even take the recordings potentially and make other YouTube videos where we can go through and, take the content that really matters, as far as like not me rambling right now, but when we start talking about cars and everything that we want to work on and things like that, when people want those answers, I can actually post real YouTube videos off of this content as well. So awesome. Thank you guys. Shane, what's up? I seen what you guys have been doing over there at 5 Star, and I can't wait to come up and check out the new track once you guys get it done. I really love the indoor stuff, so I'm really excited to come up there and see what you guys got going on once it's built. So good on you guys. Thank you for what you guys are doing and for the hobby, and yeah, can't wait to see it. So anyway, that's kind of the spiel. Scale Labs is here to grow the hobby, connect everyone, and bridge the gap between the really, really quote unquote fast guys and the guys who are incredibly scared and to ask questions or whatever it is. So yeah, super awesome, super cool. As you can see, this is the ticker. So we were at the ticker at the bottom here is highlighting all of the winners from the Prelude to the Rumble race. All of those guys, it was awesome. It kind of got screwed up with bad weather, but I wouldn't say, it went literally as good as it could have possibly went. So that's pretty cool to have that down there ticking. That'll tick away until I turn it off like this, which is obviously cool. And then there's all kinds of other stuff we got going on in here. So 25 people in here, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Yeah, I will definitely be up there, Shane. So basically, if you guys follow along on the Facebook page, and there's now at least 100 of you that do, so thank you guys. But basically, I reached out yesterday or maybe the day before yesterday and tried to get some people to send in questions for like so things that we can go over while everybody's in here and be able to go over things with cars and all that. And what I've also done is I've utilized a lot of the guys that I know and respect a ton in our hobby, and I've reached out to those guys with like when you send in a question, and I've reached out to a lot of guys and gotten their input, and I've put it into a really cool platform here that I think you guys are going to love once we get everything rolling. So um, shout out to everybody who was kind enough to take their time and let me know, what give me help that I asked for, and give me their input and feedback on things that I'm about to show you guys. So, like I said, we got all kinds of cool stuff down here. Races this weekend. Obviously, this will change from a week by week basis as well. So we got all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, Josh, I think it's pretty cool too. So I enjoy it. And yeah, so obviously we got the Big Midget Mayhem coming up this week. Everything else is club racing, as you guys can see here. This is kind of exclusive to like my kind of Indianapolis, greater Indianapolis, and some of the Illinois area. And as this keeps going, I will make sure that this grows and I want to service more than just Indianapolis or just the Midwest. I want this to be kind of a hopefully bringing in the hobby from like a nationwide type level. So obviously big dreams start small, and that's where we're at right now. So anyway, back to kind of what we were talking about. So the big thing that this week was I was just trying to get a question right, to be able to talk to people and be able to get answers and things like that. So the question this week was there was no specific question. It was just, hey, what questions do you guys have? Send them in and we'll get them answered. And basically kind of the rule of thumb that I'm coming up with is what I would like to do is for the future, any of you guys who have questions and want to send them in and we'll get them answered. Basically what that's going to look like is if you send in a DM to the Scale Labs channel, for example, if you send that in, I will keep it anonymous. If you comment when I will put out a post every week asking for questions. If you comment, I will make your name basically public. Because obviously if you're in the comment section, you're cool with everybody seeing your comment anyway. And because I know there are some guys that get scared to ask questions, things like that. So no problem. We'll keep it anonymous. But if you have a great question like this individual did, I want to make sure that not only do we get it answered, but we do it in the way, kind of that Scale Labs way. So let's check back in the comments. Dustin. How does Indy, Dustin Cooper, check this out. Watch this, guys. So Dustin Cooper said this. Check that out. Oh, not setup related, but how does Indy not have an indoor dirt oval? That is a great question. And I wish I was the person that was solving it. Maybe someday I will. Maybe this live stream will blow up and we'll be able to do something with it. We'll just have to see. It's mind-boggling to me. We don't even have an outdoor oval as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I live 15 minutes from Brownsburg, 25 minutes from downtown Indianapolis. I have to drive at minimum an hour and a half to any track I want to go to. And that's so I don't know. It sucks. There will be an outdoor track, hopefully. If things go correctly, there will be an outdoor track, wink, wink, in the greater Indianapolis area. But until then, Tyler hits the nail on the head. There's a lot of money. It takes a lot of money. And yeah, so we'll see. I don't know why there's not one, but it sucks that there's not one for sure. So yeah, so here we go. We're going to get right into the questions, and then I'm going to kind of show you, we're going to read the question together, and then I'm going to show you some of the slides that I put together that I think is pretty darn badass. So here we go. racer submitted question. This individual sent in a direct message to the Scale Labs RC page, and I literally copy and pasted it word for word. So, as someone getting serious about improving on dirt oval, what's the best baseline setup checklist I should follow every race to ensure my car stays consistent and responds correctly to tuning changes? And we'll keep this up here so everybody can read it and kind of see what we're talking about. I have both of my cars sitting here right next to me. And kind of the big thing that we're going to do is we're going to go through everybody else first. And, obviously, as I become more knowledgeable and more dialed into the hobby and race my cars and understand my cars better, I'm going to be able to contribute more. But until then, I don't feel right like just making about my show and telling you what I do, because I can't promise that what I do or what I'm going to do is correct. So basically, I'm learning with you guys, which is a pretty cool thing. And I've been very, very fortunate. I've been in the hobby for a long time, in and out, and I have a lot of people who are in the hobby that are also in other industries. And as you can see behind me, I have a machine shop, and I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of really cool people. With that being said, I have the ability to be able to reach out to a lot of really good dudes and that are really awesome guys. Number one, and number two, guys that are willing to take their time out and help not only myself, but help all of us that are watching, all 30 people that are watching right now. So pretty cool. I'm going to turn the question off now. We've got basically it's, if you're getting serious about wanting to improve, it's more what is the best baseline kind of checklist. So check out what we got going on here, guys. So now we'll switch over to this. So what we have here, this is page 1 of 3. And basically what we have here, I've reached out. You can see all these guys' names. And what I've done is I've put not only their names, but their car brands, what they run. And just to be kind of fun, I made sure I looked at what cars they have and or look at their cars, and went ahead and looked at kind of their color schemes on their cars too, to make it more personal to them. And as like a very, very small thank you to them, I changed their name so it kind of matches what their car colors are. It's kind of cheesy, but kind of cool at the same time. So I'm not going to go into reading every single one of these. I'm going to kind of talk about what each guy, when they sent me a message, kind of what we talked about. And obviously if we get into reading things, we get into reading things. But what you're going to see across all of these sheets that we're going to go back and forth to is, and make sure, guys, if you want to screenshot this is directly from these racers. Nick Henderson is a unbelievably talented guy. JB Craighead, unbelievably talented guy. Joe Payne, unbelievably talented guy. JB and Joe, I know for a fact, make their own parts, are a part of a lot of different things when they're making their own cars, and obviously very involved with their own setups because they make their own cars and things like that. So make sure you screenshot these, and this is firsthand knowledge directly from these guys' mouth. So they were kind enough to take time out of their day and send these messages in. And I literally sent them word for word what the question of the day was. So it was pretty awesome for them to do that, and I'm very, very thankful. And if you see these guys, please reach out to them as well and tell them thank you. JB and I actually talked, and one thing that I'm going to do right now, actually, while I'm thinking about it, is I'm going to switch over. Give me just a second. You guys keep reading these screens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link in the comments directly from JB about what he does. Let's see here. So JB actually spent all of the time to actually be able to make a ChatGPT link to where you can go in and basically tell ChatGPT what your car is doing, and it will go through and directly help basically directly state what your car's doing and help you out. So pretty awesome, pretty badass. And I will put it in the comments here. Okay, so I just put that in the comments from Scale Labs. And on all 3 platforms, it'll come up and you guys take that and utilize what JB has worked hard on. I've used it just a little bit after he sent it to me, and it is like pretty unreal. He did have me tell you, or make sure that I tell you guys, it's not necessarily 100%, but he's pretty confident it's about 98%, 99%, and it's pretty. And he says that it's pretty darn obvious when you if it gets to where it's kind of off kilter, it gets pretty obvious what's going on there. So um, use that how you will. Make sure you reach out to JB. JB Craighead. He's a Velocity team driver, and he's badass, super cool dude, and thank him for his hard work and efforts there. So yeah, so we've been on the page here with JB, Nick, and Traxxas Joe. So now we have the next page. 3 team GFRP guys, and then Custom Works guy. Obviously, if you guys have raced very much, you've probably heard of Cuz. And I didn't even know Cuz's last name. I had to look it up on Live RC. So he's Cuz Motorsport on Facebook. So I've known Cuz for years and didn't even know his last name. So all good there. But his feedback here is specifically 13.5. So if you're a 13.5 racer, make sure you go in and read kind of what Cuz does. It's pretty applicable across it's not car specific. But I just wanted to make sure that people can see what car people are driving, so that you can kind of tailor it back to what cars you have. And on the previous slide, and comment to go back if you guys need me to go back. More than happy to. But like Traxxas Joe, his was more based off of Joe Payne's post was more off of like street stock and Traxxas based cars. So I'm trying to hit the gamut of everything. And he's just Cuz. You're right, JB. That's what I should have done, is just Cuz on there. From now on, when he helps me out and sends in some feedback, I'll make sure that I do that. But yeah. So like I said, guys, for anybody who's just got in here or whatever, these are straight from these guys' mouth. And if you have been in especially the RC Dirt Oval community for literally any length of time, the names on here are A-main upfront winners all the time. So you literally can't get better information than what is on the screen. I feel very fortunate. I'm going to go back and read all these just like you guys are going to. And it's awesome. So yeah, so big shout out to Caden Brown, Cuz, Tyler Burmeister, and Cole Dolbert. Thank you guys very, very much for doing your hard-earned time, sending all this in. Obviously, some of these messages didn't take. They weren't little 3-minute texts. Some people put a lot of thought into them. So thank you guys so much. And again, screenshot these guys. And we can talk more about it. I'm going to go what I personally do and how I first do things when I sit down right when we get done with this. But I guarantee you there's not a thing that's been on this screen so far that you're going to see that I'm not going to talk about on my stuff, because I learn from these guys every race we go to. And so there's not a thing that I do that these guys that's probably not repeated across 3 or 4 of these guys. So go ahead and load up the last one. And I'm so thankful for this last post. So this is from Cole Rhodes. His message was so long, I had to give him his own. Own slide here. So thank you, Cole. Cole owns CR7 Dirtworks, and he runs relatively exclusively, I would say, Cole, if you're in here. He runs pretty exclusively down at Slideways, but I know he does travel here and there to other big races. But if you're going to go down the Slideways, you're going to have to beat Cole. So Cole, Mike Pasley, all those guys, you're going to have to beat them when you go down to Slideways. So thank you so much to Cole. As you guys can read here, take a screenshot of this, go back and read it as well. It is it's pretty awesome. And I'm even learning some of this stuff right now, or really taking it to heart what he's saying, going through, especially bullet point, I think it's 5 there, 1 change at a time. You only get 1 change. Try to make 1 change to better your car. If it works, remember that change and write it down. And that's another thing, guys. If you go through, you will see pretty extensively where guys have said, write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. I have a 3-ring binder over on my pit table. and that's what I use. And yeah, it's pretty incredible what you can do when you write things down and you have everything noted properly. And also something else that has been happening to me personally in my racing lately, that he highlights here is learn your remote. So that transmitter is the most important thing, obviously connecting you to the car. So that is a pretty big deal, and obviously, you want to learn that thing. I've been really diving into uh, endpoints versus dual rate, things like that. That's been really helpful for me, and yeah. So again, I'm going to switch this over here in just a second. So if you haven't read it all yet, screenshot. If you guys, anybody who's live in here wants to see any of the other screens that we've already shown, please just comment and I'll make sure I go back. But until then, unfortunately, you have to deal with my ugly mug. So sorry. And then let's see here. We can go ahead and put this back up. That's pretty cool. And I'll make sure that as more and more big races come across. Obviously, next week we'll put the Midget Mayhem race from PTs on here on our little ticker, and other things like that. So, also, if anybody is interested at all, kind of like in sponsoring the channel or anything like that, it'll go 100% back to the channel, or racing, RC racing related things. Whether it's maybe a track pops up in Central Indiana, or getting to go to more races, or whatever the case is for better coverage like this. Yeah. So as you can see, I have my business, my wife's business, and the Scale Labs logo kind of in our ticker here. That kind of, it'll scroll. So if anybody has a business or anybody's interested in sponsoring the channel, reach out to me. That's all I'm going to say about it, because I'm really not too interested in begging for money. Obviously, I'm doing this for the fun of it and to help grow the hobby. So one thing I already had my car torn down to get it all cleaned up, but what we can do is go. Oh boy. I'll work on desk for you guys. I thought I had it kind of figured out, and obviously I didn't. So no big deal. I can hold them up like this. But so hopefully you guys got some screenshots of who is or of those what some of these really really fast guys are doing to prepare their cars, and get ready for the following week after a big race week. So the first thing that I do, because I'm slow, or maybe not terribly slow, but I maybe not as consistent. Yeah, thanks, Cole. We'll work on desk view, so that way I can actually hold the car down here. But until then, the first thing that I do, this is a mod sprint. This is applicable to literally pretty much anything I say is applicable to any race car, any RC car, period. If it does get anything specific into mod, or sprint car or late model, I have a late model over here too, I will make sure that we do that, or I note that, but everything should be pretty applicable all the way around. First thing I do is I go in and check my hinge pins, take the shocks off, make sure everything flows freely. So if you have a bent hinge pin, so if you smack the wall or hit the wall real hard or anything like that, the chances of you having a bent hinge pin is pretty high. So you have a hinge pin here on the car, as well as here on the car, and then you have outer hinge pins as well that hold your hubs on. Basically, what you want to do is take your shocks off so that your arms float freely. And when those arms flow freely, basically, you don't have a hinge pin. If you put your arm up and it kind of stays up there, the odds are you have a bent hinge pin. Knock that thing out, put a fresh one in, and go on about your business. And I do that on the front as well, same kind of thing. Front hinge pin here and here, as well as out here on the hubs here and here. And you can see those right there. So right underneath there. There's a lot of guys in here, obviously, that don't need to be told what this is. But like I say, this is for people that are maybe new to the hobby or want to get into a car like this. This is a great way to see the car up close, personal, And if you guys have any questions at all, keep the comment section rolling, and I will answer everything that I can. Typically, there's a lot of really great guys in here as well. That if I don't know the answer, a lot of guys will chime in and get the answer for us. So, um, if you have any questions, you need to know anything like that, please, make sure that you comment, and we will make sure that it gets answered, because that's what we're here for, is to help everybody out. So, the only thing that I did lose ability of, guys, is I'm not able to see who is in here until you do comment. So so make sure you say hey, and Henderson, I don't have my wrenches for you just yet, buddy. But I don't have a way of I have the total number, but other than that, I don't know who's in here and who isn't. So be sure to let me know who's in here, and we will answer any questions that you have on the live stream as well. Um, back to this guy. So after that, first thing I do is, after those hinge pins, make sure everything's good on those. The shocks will already be off at this point to check hinge pins. I'll go ahead and do a shock refresh, make sure everything's good there, put new oils in, and make sure everything's straight. Re-grease all of the, or re-lube all of the seals and everything that is down in the, on the big shock stuff. It'd be called a rod guide. So make sure all that's good. Rebuild all the shocks. We'll make sure that we do a live stream rebuilding shocks one of these days as well. Let's see. Tommy, I don't know how we make JB stop picking on you. That's a good question. I think JB has his hands so full, especially some of the times I've been with you guys at Go Fast. JB has his hands full with his little one running around. So maybe you need to quit picking on him and just take it from him for a little while. I don't know. But no, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so and then after that, after shocks are done, typically I go through transmission and make sure everything's good there. I do have a diff checker that I check everything with. Obviously, diffs have been kind of my Achilles heel here lately. I've been having diffs that are way too loose, and then I go out and run them, and I've burned them up. So, PTs 2 weeks ago at their big club race, I think I made it about 8 laps, and I had to put a new diff in. So, good learning experience, but not too fun. Not too fun to handle. Have to deal with that. So, outside of that, let's see. Oh boy. JB's putting Tommy's chair out in the parking lot or in the cornfield. That's not good. Anderson, we do have timing on these, smart Alec, so we can crank some in-bill timing into this. Right, this is harder than it looks. I wouldn't be a good game show host. Right here, so we can crank that in-bill and put timing into this thing. Cole, what's up, man? Thank you for your post and all of your help. I really greatly appreciate you. My That is another thing. My spur gear program has been lacking there at times. That's why on both cars, you will see that I have transmission covers on, because I had to unfortunately learn the hard way after a 3 or 4 spur gear day at it's Slideways. After a 3 or 4 spur gear day at Slideways, I had to make some wholesale changes there too. So, but yeah. So after that, I'll take the transmission out, make sure everything's good there, oil, grease, and all that. Typically on a mod car like these, I will fully rebuild the transmission every 2 races, or put a fresh kit in there. So that's rings, balls, and bearings on the screw. And if you guys would like to see more about that, I will make sure I'll make sure we go through and do, like, we can go all the way through a transmission. Cole, I can promise you that wasn't true, because you were the last guy there that was letting me use stuff. and we put a steel pinion on your spur and had no issues. So everything was good there. Actually, I didn't even get a chance to use it because that is when my um, shock tower decided to exit stage left in the two pieces. So, but yeah, thank you guys. Cole's been a huge help. Obviously, he was featured here on the help too. So, um, his comments. Thank you, Cole, for contributing, and thank you for what you and Zach did for the prelude. That was pretty damn awesome, and can't wait for the big one. So, I may actually, I think I'm going to try to come over Saturday or Sunday and get a bunch of laps. So, um, if I can, we'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to get there yet or not, but hopefully we'll get to. Um, okay, so after that, so we went over check hinge pins. I feel is the most important thing you check first off. Then I rebuild shocks, get the diff out, check it, make sure everything's good there. If it's time for a rebuild it. After that, I will check my CVAs, the dog bones, the axles, and everything. I'll make sure all those are as basically as square as they can be or running true as they can. And then outside of that, that's kind of it for the back half of the car. I make sure that the motor and everything is blown out really, really well. This is a Wits Hypermod 7.0. I have a 7.0 in both cars, and I make sure everything's blown out, and then I actually go in on both ends of the bearings, and I'll make sure everything has good oil in all of the bearings. And then I actually go through the whole rear of the car on all the hub bearings, everything, make sure all that's good. I make sure. So this is kind of a maintenance segment, obviously, but then I make sure that on the back of my car here, I make sure that the arms and everything are flowing freely. So make sure these turn. Well, I'll loosen both of the bolts and make sure everything turns nice and free. And then outside of that, that's kind of the back of the car. I'll button everything back up, make sure nothing's cracked, loose, make sure nothing wiggles or wobbles the way that it shouldn't. And then kind of move my way to the front of the car. Front of the car obviously is quite a bit more simple. When you go barrel rolling down the front stretch at, or maybe the back stretch or all the stretches at the Prelude there in Delavan, sometimes you rip the front wing out. So when you do that, you have to get some washers and things like that to fix your wing. But that's just me. Caden, I don't know if I'm putting a 3 in. If anything, you're going to have to put a 1 in front of that 3. And if anything, a 13.5 is going in. But we'll see. I think I came across quite a bit of stuff this week that at the Prelude that I'm really excited about. And hopefully can just stay with the mod stuff. If not, then yeah, I'm going to go the 13.5 route and get a little bit better as a driver that way, and we'll see. So I think I show good speed. I think a lot of it's me and a lot of, just getting consistent laps. So outside of that, guys, going through the front end of the car, I make sure everything's nice and tight and working properly from the servo. Make sure everything is tightened down and nothing's wiggling there. Some of the bolts that I have had regularly come loose. If you guys don't think to check on the kick up here, these 4 bolts, I've looked down before after a heat race or something and can move the entire front assembly of the car. So obviously that's less than ideal. So make sure you check those. But then make sure all of the hubs and everything are going freely. I'll make sure that I oil everything real good. And kind of from there, once everything is oiled, I'll go through everything one more time, just kind of eyeballing it, making sure everything's blown off and clean. And then from there, we're kind of ready to go. So from there, once everything's nice and clean, I will go through, put I haven't quite got a crazy setup or anything that I like just yet. So from there, basically put it back to baseline. That comes with, so this 26 Salt, for example, I put it back to baseline with the kit setup that Dustin gives you. And then I go to the racetrack and I kind of start tweaking from there and work with any of the guys that are willing to help. And that's kind of what I do on a week to week basis. Um, I'm pretty aligned with what everybody else is doing on here that we've shown, and I don't think that I think my maintenance program's pretty darn good. Um, if my driving ability could keep up with the car and my maintenance program, I think I'll be pretty good. So the big learning curve for me was just making sure diffs and stuff were right. And ever since I got that diff analyzer, it's been a lot better for me personally. Just because it's been, I have a number and I kind of stick to it now, which is good. And it doesn't let me kind of leave the house with a totally screwed up diff and then, kind of revamp from square one when I get to the racetrack. So, but yeah, no, guys, I think that's about it on the sprint car. The late model is pretty self-explanatory too from the sprint car side. Um, I go through and make sure that everything is checked the same exact way. I start at the rear of the car and then go through and make sure that everything is tight, free. Um, all the droop and everything flows freely. Nothing moves or nothing's bound up. It's so easy to find, when things are bound up in these cars because they do operate and move so freely. So, yeah, I mean, from there, I don't do a whole lot. It's the same thing. Um, make sure all of my and I actually so that's a good thing too. In between rounds, even guys, especially if you got in a wreck or you made contact with somebody or anything like that, I go through. I'll pop the shocks off and make sure whatever corner that I had that issue on, I will make sure that I check those hinge pins because that's kind of that's the first line of defense that's going to take a hit on these cars is those hinge pins. So um, anytime I wreck, which is a lot, obviously, so I'm basically checking hinge pins every single time I come off the racetrack. But there are sometimes too I bust off a 96, 98% consistency too and have a pretty good run. So I'm consistently inconsistent, it feels like, which is fine. Getting faster every day, so that's all that really matters. Learning a lot. And one of the guys on our post here did say that oops, let's see. Instagram's getting fussy. Okay. Looks like Instagram's down. That's fine. It is what it is. I don't think we had anybody there anyway. But so anyway, one of the things that got said in our all the guys that were nice enough to write in and help us out, giving their feedback on what they kind of do on a race to race basis or in between races, um, that I really agreed with, or that I try to do is just checking, you check every bolt on the car, whether it's, for a body support, for a wing support on the sprint car, all the way through. I can't tell you how many times I've caught something just stupid. It's like, how did that possibly get loose? Or, something broken, or, I think we've determined that I got a bad batch of out drives and dog bones and axles and everything on my late model here, and that was quite the experience. I went through like 2 or 3 races, couldn't hardly get the car around the track, and then and I'm still struggling with the late model, but it kind of sounds like everybody does, so it kind of is what it is. But I think a lot of it now is me, my trigger finger, and my controller. So kind of like Cole said, I want to make sure I go through and get everything much more dialed in. Still got 26 people in here, guys. You guys are awesome. Please comment away. Let me know. Let me know that you're in here. Say hey. And I don't know if you guys have been in here since I've showed some of these features. But like for example, when Caden was in here giving me crap when I'm putting a 3.5 turn motor in, I can feature those comments now. So if you guys have anything or need help or want help or anything like that, or have any questions, if I can't answer them, I will make sure I find somebody who can and get you that answer. So, Chad, what's up, man? Thanks for commenting. Heck yeah, it's cool to have Chad Jones in here. Chad is the reason that my late model even went around the track at the Prelude, my late model. So I was hurting pretty bad before him, and he was a great help and really took the time to help me. So Chad's one of those stand up dudes, and I'm sure Chad is going to be one of the people I reach out to for when you guys have questions that I don't know answers to. So, Rich, what's up, man? Thanks for commenting. Appreciate you. No show. I'm assuming you're talking about Jones there. Everybody gives Chad a hard time for being for not being at the races. So, I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Yeah, so this is a perfect one. Some other guys may not know that either, Dustin. So that'll be good. Dustin says when I talked about the kick-up being loose on my car, which is here, these 4 bolts. Same thing on the sprint car. Um, Dustin says for that front kick-up coming loose, try Vibratight VC3. So any of you guys that may be having bolts coming loose, metal to metal, which metal to metal is basically only going to be on the front end here and on your on your toe blocks on the back of the car, and a couple other places, but those are the main places. So if you guys need Vibratight, I'm assuming that's like a replacement for Loctite, Dustin, or a brand of Loctite, even. I'm not sure. I think I've heard of Vibratight before. So, yeah, I'm assuming that's some type of. Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. You couldn't be more right. Chad was. I couldn't have asked for a better for a guy that helped me better at the Prelude. So hopefully I didn't run him off asking him too many questions, and he'll help me some more at the next race that we're at. But yeah, Ryan, you're the same way. So Ryan, you're a wealth of knowledge too, and a huge help. So I appreciate you as well. But anyway, as you guys seen Dustin's comment here, make sure you guys come in if you need some like a Loctite replacement, something that's better than Loctite. According to Dustin, check out Vibratight on metal. Oh, cool. So yeah, metal to plastic. That's good to know as well. So yeah, heck yeah. Cool. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. Sure everybody else stays tight, comes apart. Cool. That's awesome. What about reassembly, Dustin? How do you feel about that? Like, is it I've used some Loctites before that like gum up the hole to where you really don't want to have to mess with it anymore, like where you really got to dig that hole out that's full of gunk. So I don't know how you feel about that, but obviously it's pretty good if you're willing to thread the plastic first. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. I'm gonna look into that myself. So cool. Thank you. And then we kind of last minute, but Josh Alvey, I don't know if you're still in here or not. We still got 20 people in here, which is pretty awesome. But Josh, I don't know if you're still in here or not, but Josh commented on my post, on the Scale Labs post, wanting to know. Here's his question from Josh Alvey: brass. When to use it, where to use it on the car, where to put it on the car, what effect a brass has on the left front arm, battery locators, left rear hub, nose weight on the Sprint, front bumper for the late model, things like that. So I'm sure there's a lot of guys in here that can absolutely speak to that. Um, and I don't know if Jake Howard's in here, but if anybody's seen Jake Howard's post about all the brass they had on their car, I don't know if that was a joke or if that's actually what he ran in the mains. But brass is life over there in the 25 pit. That's all I can say. Josh, this is my late model. Can't remember if you're running 13.5 late model or just your sprint car. Can't remember. Correct me either way, Josh, if you're in here. But so the brass on my late model right now, I'm running the rear camber link tucked away back here. My rear camber link's brass. I run a brass battery mounting just in the front, and I'm also running a left rear brass hub. So that's kind of the brass that I'm running in this car. From talking with guys and from my own experience, like if the car's wanting a wheelie or anything like that, obviously if you have a loose front end, loose feeling front end on the sprint car, that's a perfect time to put brass towards the front of the car. I've also been listening to Dustin Malakote and talking with him direct from GFRP or Team GFRP. One thing that I wish I would have done over the weekend when I was at the Prelude is I had a killer fast sprint car. Um, the best as far as confidence wise, I felt with the sprint car in a long time, and was pretty well up to speed. I felt pretty confident with it, but I kept traction rolling. So according to Dustin, some of the stuff that I should have done, and he didn't tell me this directly, but I'm just taking in some of the stuff that he said here recently, is I should have put brass towards the front of the car. Number one, towards the left side of the car, obviously, because when the car's coming around, obviously it's wanting the traction roll up, pick the left rear up off the ground, and then obviously it's dive on the right front, things like that. So according to Dustin, he says if the car starts traction rolling, actually take the brass rear camber link off, switch that back to aluminum, which I have the brass one on now, so I probably should have taken that off when I was at the Prelude and went in and changed that. Is what it is now. Um, and I do have to say, when I was at the Prelude, guys, take what I'm saying kind of with a grain of salt. I did end up leaving. With the weather being bad, I qualified so terribly that I was basically in the way. I can't stand. This is a me thing. I can't stand race points. I hate it. I think it's terrible. I think I feel so behind anytime we're running race points. I feel like I'm already behind the eight ball before we even get started. So, I even seeded pretty darn well in my late model, and I still I can't stand race points. So, um, and I grew up with IFMAR, and I think I just like IFMAR, but I understand on the dirt oval side that's just not the way to go. Is it IFMAR is not the way to go? I understand that. I'm having to train myself to really love race points. So let me know what you guys think, obviously, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm a race points guy just yet. But anyway, at the Prelude, I was so far behind the eight ball after the first set of heat races. I think I ran my late model, and I had made a couple of changes that did not help the car whatsoever. And after that, I just decided to. The snow was still coming down pretty good, and I ended up going back helping my folks get. Was able to get my parents' driveway shoveled and everything, and then got on the road and got home. So cool. I'm glad you think the same way, JB. I can't. I don't care for race points myself, but that's just me. I'd rather wait and race right there, in the A main. But I also think that maybe I'm not the greatest racer. Um, Something that I've been having to come to terms with here lately, for sure, is I need to stop being such a sissy when we're racing. I am so worried about making somebody upset or angry, and mad, or making contact with somebody or whatever, or holding up a leader if I'm getting lapped, which happens a lot. That I don't want to. Typically, I'm not as aggressive or not where I need to be, um, from a racer perspective when it comes to race points. So till I'm able to figure that out, I'm going to be behind. So it really doesn't matter either way. But because my consistency is what makes me good. Typically, I'm decent in seating unless I have a terrible round in seating, and then I am typically pretty good when we're running IFMAR, because I am typically consistent, but I'm also slow consistent. So it's kind of push, kind of a push either way. But anyway, back to the sprint car when we're talking about brass for Josh Alvey here. On this one, I actually flipped the brass battery mount. So the brass battery mount is in the back of the car. And obviously, everything when you're traction rolling, I had everything slid to the far left hand side of the car and try to get all the weight that I could over to the left hand side. I do have a brass, if you can see it there, I have a brass bumper spacer, as well as I run the 15-gram wheel disc on the 26 car. So that's all the brass that I have in this car. I have seen where guys are running the brass arm inserts on. So right now I'm running the carbon insert top and bottom. I think guys, especially when it gets traction rolly like that, I think guys are running brass under the left arm. So if you guys do that, those guys that are in here that are super quick, let me know what you guys do there. But I think that would be a pretty obvious thing. If you're starting a traction roll, you'd put brass on the left arm too, which I didn't do. I have that, but I didn't. So, oh, let's see here. Caden, let's bring Caden's comment up. I like both race points. To me, to be really consistent and not the fastest, but I like FMAR because if you're junk first round, I have the second round. That's exactly how I feel, Caden. So like if you're running race points, if you have a bad first round, you might as well pack up and go home. Like you're screwed. So yeah, I agree. I don't know that I agree about you have to be consistent, not the fastest, and race points because I feel like from the perspective of like staying out of wrecks and stuff for sure. But man, some of those guys that are already up front, like they're gone. Like so there is no yeah. Especially they start first, you start fifth. There's no getting up to those guys typically unless there's a mistake made. So. But I understand what you're saying totally. I don't disagree either. I mean, you got to be fast with this stuff anytime. Let's see, Okay, this is Josh's question. So let's see. I've been running brass camera link mount on the late model, but not on the Sprint. Not sure if it's right or wrong. Seems to work. Both are okay. Cool. One thing that I've been looking at that I don't even know, Josh. So this would be a good question. With all of the arm restrictions on the 13.5 late model stuff, are you guys even allowed to run adjustable arms, or do you have to do something else? I didn't know how that worked because then I got to thinking about the rules. Like if you hit something and it knocks the arm out and you get teched afterwards, or you're just illegal. If it moves the arm, you get more toe or whatever. So because I have been looking at potentially going and running 13.5 just to get more and more laps. But question for you, Josh, if since you're a 13.5 guy, I don't know. I haven't looked into the late model stuff. Caden, you know too if you're still in here. You're on 13.5 this weekend, so you're probably one of the guys to beat. Yeah, as far as Camberlink stuff, uh, I may have actually. No, that's brass for sure. Yeah, I have the brass one back there. The only thing that I've considered mainly switching to is potentially moving flipping the brass over. So on my battery mount, moving the back one forward. I may do that as well, Josh. I don't know. And then if the track does get super duper gripped up, I'm going to start. I'm going to try the left front brass arm as well. And then obviously I'm able to keep the front end of my car. I'm not wheeling or anything right now, so I may actually even pull this brass spacer out, this bumper spacer out, and go to aluminum there, and see if I can lighten the front end up. Even we'll just have to see. So got a lot of testing in my future, a lot of things to get better and build a bigger notebook for sure. So let's see. Okay. Okay, so on my question about 13.5, guys, Josh just answered this. Caden said the same thing. But so, Josh, Caden, if it's the same as a mod car, what happens if you hit something and you tow the car and the car gets out of that 3 and 0 rule? What happens? That's what I don't know. So that's what I would be worried about. Um, or is that you go out with 3 and 0, and if you don't, then interesting. Hey, Bruce, what's up, man? So okay, so like at Brick House and stuff, there's not a rule. So oh man, this is where everything gets hairy because then you go to Illinois and you got to have a whole nother freaking car, basically. JB, I missed your comment here. FMAR is cleaner typically racing because the fast guy isn't trying to hustle through traffic during heat rate. Yeah. So I mean, FMAR is like seating basically, and I mean FMAR is seating in at a at a race points race is what that comes to. Uh, you have to win to have a good main spot. Yep. Yeah, one. I mean, you're 100% right, JB. One spot is one spot is literally, especially at a big place like when you have 10 freaking heats at PTs or something like that. I mean, yeah, it's huge, absolutely massive. So yeah, no, I agree. Let's see. Still talking about brass. Here's Cole's comment. The brass thing is a loaded question. That's all the car needs are once. And they're sprung and unsprung weight 100%. Yep. If you get tech pre-race, should happen. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Well, then once you start having the sprung unsprung weight conversation, then it gets into a whole other deal because then you have basically then you're talking linear motion and different types of motions and whatnot for what Cole's saying about sprung and unsprung weight is when you start talking about putting weight on arms and things like that it gets weird quickly. Like obviously on the back, we run these big heavy discs on the left rear and things like that. So yeah, it's yeah, definitely a loaded question. You're 100% right, Cole. I agree with you. Let's see. So this just in, guys. Breaking news for those 20 of you that are still in here. Thank you, guys. This has been pretty awesome for how many people stayed too. So I appreciate you guys. Um, but breaking news as far as Scale Labs RC is concerned, I just got literally a couple minutes ago from Brad Brucker at BB Mods, and then 2 or 3 days ago with Tom at PT's. Both of their garages, so the PT garage and then the BB Mods racing seminars that they're doing kind of at both ends of the year. Um, Scale Labs just got approved by both of those tracks that when they do the seminars, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be live, number one, and then um, I'm going to be live as well as um, we're going to put it on our YouTube channel so that anytime somebody has a question or anything like that, I'll actually do YouTube videos with the live feed where you can go in and search and be able to find specific things about cars at each station, and we'll have basically a video dedicated to each station. But Scale Labs RC is going to be there, and we're gonna be able to show all that. Tom's actually in here right now. What's up, Tom? I was just telling everybody about you and I's conversation. So, but yeah. So here we go. So yeah. Anyway, Scale Labs is going to be at PTs and BB Mods for both of their garage and seminars that they're having. So pretty cool, and we'll be able to put all that content here. So when you guys come back, you'll be able to see all of that information. So that'll be super cool. Let's see here. Last year, I made my screw backed out on my toe block, and I wasn't DQ'd. Okay, so I mean that makes sense, Cade. Basically, you're teched pre-race because they can't control what happens to the car during the race, like, and there's no way you're gonna be able to move it. So yeah, that makes total sense. They really can't tech after the race. It is what it is. So it's all pre-race. But yeah, Josh Cole would be a great resource. Cole's helped me out a ton as well. Um, he'll help you out a ton. I'm sure. I have no doubt about that. So, but yeah, I mean the sprung and unsprung is a huge conversation to have. Obviously, Cole. Interesting question for you, Cole. I know that you've been doing some of the big car stuff, working for Rick Salter and those guys. Um, have you found where having and Tom, if you're still in here too, you're a big car guy as well. Have you guys found that obviously working with the big car stuff has made your RC car program a little bit better? Because I know, like, I was thinking about this the other day. One of the things that I've fallen behind on as a racer myself is I've gotten like I've gotten to where I'm like willingly dumb. So and I'm mainly dumb normally too, but I've gotten where I'm willingly dumb from a perspective of I don't think for myself. Where like when I'm here in the shop and doing things on my own on these cars and whatnot, it's like, oh well, I know this, and that. But it's like when I get to the racetrack and people are available to get help from and all that, it's like I quit thinking. So I've really got to get to where I'm thinking for myself and then go and ask for help for sure. So there's just a personal thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately because it hasn't been good. I get willingly like willingly helpless. I guess in a weird way. So I don't like that. Oh, let's see. Ryan commented. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, Ryan. That's so. Back to the 13.5 question. Ryan just commented. Tech should only be done in the spec classes after the race. If someone got 2/10 quicker all of a sudden, I agree. My question is this, Ryan, and it's more of, I guess, more of a debate than anything. But 13.5, right? If I go out with my late model and I have a tow rule and I smoke the wall, or I'm driving through the infield at PTs and hit a chair, whatever it is, and I knock the left rear end and my car gets way better, I'm DQ'd if I'm all of a sudden I'm towed in 6 on the left rear because I hit something? You know what I mean? So it's like that weird area of like, you almost need to have somebody at the end of pit lane and they pick the car up, yep, he's at 0 and 3, and then throw you on the track or something. And then after that it is what it is. I guess if you get lucky enough to hit something that helps the car, then that was your lucky day, I guess. I don't know how you really go about it. But I agree with what you're saying. It should be teched before and after the race, frankly, or everything should be teched after the race. So I don't disagree. Oh, let's see, Dustin. Here's a brass question on big cars. It was always lead between the axles. Whoops, lead between the axles, but on RC cars we hang it off of each end. Why? Lead between the axles, but on RC we hang it off of the end. So, Dustin, are you saying you're talking like camber link and then bumper stuff? And you're saying in between the axles, meaning in between the front and rear of the car, right? Because obviously on a late model, for example, or a big car, um, some of those primo locations um, are going to be door bars by the driver, and then you're hanging lead over the kind of near the motor plate behind the right rear, and then you're also talking about putting weight kind of behind the driver towards the rear end. So um, as far as I think brass, in my opinion, brass is used a lot for controlling the cars. As far as in the RC side of things, it's more about putting them where they need to be positionally, more than like in a big car. You're obviously being able to drive the car in a dynamic more than the on the RC car side. Once you go into the corner, you'd kind of need that extra weight to obviously help that. And then when you're talking about wheelies and talking about percentages and things like that on the scales, um, hanging weight off the front is going to keep the front end of the car down way better. And when you also scale, when you're scaling, I think the weights for the arms are 7 grams. So those 7 gram weights, I mean, that is when you scale that up to your, times 10 for your 10th scale. I mean, you're talking about a ton of weight you're hanging off these cars, and that's sprung weight too. So, um, let's see. So let me catch up on everybody's comment. So let me catch up. Cole, let's see. Cole Rhodes. I started in the. Oh, I didn't know that, Cole. So that's how I am too. Excuse me. Um, if anything, I think working around both of them helps. Think outside the box. Cool. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Justin, what's up, man? Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Obviously, appreciate you. Justin saying that's how it goes. I'm assuming for the 13.5 stuff. I agree. Ryan still on to the 13.5. No, but there's a chance you could hit the jackpot and leave the script. Yeah, no, I get it. I understand. I understand totally. I just don't know. I guess the rule. The rule is the rule, and if you're out, you're out. That's all there is to it. Like if you're out at any point when you're checked, then you're out. That's all there is to it. That's definitely Caden's speed secret. He just leaves all of his stuff loose in the ass of his car and hopes it goes the right direction. Let's see. Cole says this is now we're back to the weight conversation. Let me get this banner off here. We've kind of talked about brass. Obviously, everybody knows what we're talking about now. Dustin says I don't disagree, but behind the dog bones is still going to create that pendulum effect. See, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, Dustin, from the pendulum things, because it's more of the way you're changing your center of gravity. Really, is less than the pendulum side of things. You're changing the total center of gravity on the car to where the ass is just more planted because you have more weight back there. I haven't seen many big cars that do have weight added around. Fuel cell, that's behind the axle on fender cars. Yeah, typically you're not going to see anything back, behind the axle, Ryan, on the big car stuff. Um, everything is like by the J bar mount. I've seen a lot of weights. Kind of that driver area. That's why obviously it pays to have a lighter driver. So kid waits till the screw heads break off and then worries about it. That's fair. Caden, you're taking some flack about the maintenance program here, man. Adjustable toes better than limited toe. Fair, fair enough. Is any of you guys out there that want to go back and see the some of the input from some of the quote unquote fast guys? I don't mean that smart aleck when I say fast guy. I mean they're all fast guys or the guys that have been doing this for a long time. If anybody wants to go back and see those slides, just please let me know and then we can go back. Um, but this was awesome. We've been streaming for a little bit over an hour after the second stream. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry that I screwed up again about the 100 followers. I just flat didn't know that. So that's on me. I apologize for looking kind of bad there, but obviously been trying to I don't know if anybody can tell. Hopefully it's apparent, but I'm trying to up this stream quality anywhere that I can, and trying to make sure that it is obviously of the highest quality. Both to I want to promote our hobby, so I want to make sure that I'm doing it in the best light that I can, and making sure that it is as well quote unquote produced as I can make it. So, and I'm trying to put it on as many platforms as I can put it on and everything else. So, um, yeah, that's kind of the mindset. Okay, my 13.5 late model worked for a reason there's shit on the car that I wouldn't even think about doing on my mod car. Yeah, I probably should go down that 13.5 path, Caden. I'm sure that I should go down that path just to get better, but I haven't obviously yet. So maybe maybe here shortly we'll see. I sounds illegal. Yeah, I'm kidding, Cole. Cole Caden beat you, didn't he? This past weekend? Didn't Caden beat you guys in the late model? So gonna have to be doing some better tech down there at the old slideways. I don't know where all you guys are racing. Caden, I know where you are. Joe, I'm assuming, Traxxas Joe, I'm assuming you are going to be running your midget at PTs this weekend. I didn't get a chance to get signed up for anything. So, and also don't have, I have a 13.5 just stock system, but I wasn't going to go for just one car. Um, so as of right now, I'm going to run the closest thing to me is either Kaminsky or Brick House. So I think I may go up to Brick House on Saturday. And then if everything's still in one piece after Brick House on Saturday, I may go. I seen Cole Dolbert and Zach and all those guys just opened up the Prelude track again. So if everything goes good on Saturday, I also may have to work Saturday. I've got a bunch of stuff going on. Um, so we'll see how Saturday goes. I may or may not even get to race. If I do race, it's probably going to be at Brick House. And then on Sunday, I plan on going to I'm going to go back over, maybe have dinner with my parents or something. And before that, go and run some laps at the Prelude track. Stetler, what's up, man? Heck yeah. Well, if Stellar's going to Brick House, I'm not going because I'm already in a B main and Stetler's there. So no good. Just kidding. But cool. Yeah, if you're going to that'd be cool too. I'm sure there's some other guys going up there too. So Joe, thank you for the offer. I would love to do that. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see because then I mean I could put a 13.5 in my late model and then we could see I could see what we got going on. Let's see, Caden next PT's race, Sam. Cool, thank you, Caden. All right, Josh. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Send me some feedback on what you think. If you liked everything, hopefully you did, and let me know how I can make it better. So, let's see. For some of you guys, put that back on. But yeah, no, thank you guys very much, and yeah, hopefully it's apparent what's been done. So, and all that. What do you mean, Caden? You didn't bring it up? I'm not sure that I followed what you said. But cool. Stetler's going. That's awesome. Mark, maybe I'll see you there. Okay, I didn't bring it. Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, Caden, you ran a killer race. Obviously, obviously all I could see was live RC, but looked like it was a pretty darn good race. So cool. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it. I appreciate any other comments you guys want to get in or anything we want to talk about before I call it a night. We've been on for about an hour and a half, including both streams. So, and anybody who sees this, please message the Scale Labs page and let me know how I can be better and what I can do. If you liked things, if you didn't like things, please let me know. I'm all about wanting to be better and yeah, that's all there is to it. So Ryan commented, glad to see Stellar racing some loose dirt again. He helped me tremendously when I was learning 8 scale late model years ago. No, I agree totally, Ryan. I clung on to Mark's coattails one night at PT's, and he made me immensely faster. That was my first A main that I made when I got back into this hobby. So on the mod stuff. So I couldn't agree more. Mark's been instrumental to me too, and I seen him at PT's the other day, and when we were club racing, didn't get a chance to really even talk to him that much. So I agree with you 100%. Mark's awesome. Yeah. Well, that's easy to do when you go to Slideways Cadence, get 4 hung up on you, and then still finish second. So, especially when you're racing with those guys, they're badass. So, absolutely. Well, guys, I can't tell you how thankful I am. We kept at least, there's 18 right now, but we kept at least 20 people in here for the entirety of this show. No, there's 20 again. But thank you guys so much. I'm sorry again for some of the headaches that when we got started. I think there was a lot of guys waiting on the Facebook side to start. So obviously, thank you guys for hanging around. It took a little bit longer, about 20 minutes or so to get started, but I appreciate you guys. And yeah, this has been nothing short of awesome. This is going to be an every week thing. You know, if anybody thinks we can do better than a Wednesday night, you know, I'm pretty flexible. I'm kind of scheduling life right now around these Wednesday nights. So if everybody likes them, I'm going to keep them this way. And yeah, I put this back up while we're talking. But yeah, man, I love doing this. These things are so much fun. I appreciate you guys immensely for everybody who comes in here and talks and hangs out. Um, I don't know. I probably made a couple people mad by um, asking them, you know, to contribute as far as their opinions and posting their answers because there's a couple guys I didn't hear back from, and you know, if I made you mad, I'm sorry. There's nothing intentional. Like I said, I'm just trying to grow the hobby, and is what it is. So thank you guys. I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go inside, and I will see you guys the next time I see you. If I don't see you at a racetrack, I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you guys so much again for everything, and thank you for supporting this. Thank you for supporting RC racing. Thank you for supporting myself and Scale Labs with what we're doing here. And yeah, thank you guys again. We'll see you Wednesday. Peace.